Hey there, this is Eric Louviere. This presentation could trigger you, so please don't watch this if you're easily offended, faint of heart, easily triggered, got anger issues, see yourself more as a consumer, very judgy, any of that kind of stuff. It's probably not going to work out too well for you. If you hate rich people, rich fat cats, you think rich people are evil and money's evil and capitalism is evil and profits are evil and all that, then this isn't going to be a good match for you. So you don't even need to watch the rest of this presentation. However, if you want to make a whole lot more money and you're not offended by money, and when I talk about making money in cash and cash flow and getting rich and putting lots of money in your bank account and getting richer than your friends and your family and your neighbors and everyone else that's in your life, then watch. Let's get into this. So, money is not evil. Rich people are not crooks. Most fail because of failure to sell. People buy confidence and certainty. So, if you're not confident and certain about what you're providing, what you're selling, people are not going to buy from, someone who's timid. You're not going to buy from a salesperson who's like, maybe this new roof I put on will work. Maybe it won't. I don't know. It's kind of a shot in the dark. Or a doctor who's like, I don't know, maybe I can pull your appendix out, maybe not. I don't know. I won't know until I get in there. Like, you want someone who's confident. That's what you buy from, right? So you have to also allow yourself to receive more money. And this is big. I'm going to talk a lot about this right now. But I see so many people that, I help them. They start making some money and then they just shut it off. Like, they only allow themselves to go to their limits, right? They won't go beyond that. So it's really interesting. And so you got to allow yourself to receive more money. You got to allow yourself to make 2, 3, 4 times more money than you're used to making. Maybe even 10 times more money than you're used to making. So you got to allow yourself to receive more money. And that's a big one. A lot of people say, well, I'm depressed. I'm depressed because I don't have a lot of money. I'm depressed because I'm not successful yet, or what they see themselves as far as where they want to arrive on a success level. So they're like, I'm depressed because I don't have money. But the truth is they don't have money because they're depressed. It's more the other way. You're lacking the money because of depression. You're not depressed because of money. You're depressed. You're not depressed from lack of money. You have a lack of money because you're depressed. Does that make sense? So if you want more, you've got to become more. And this is a big golden lesson that I learned from Jim Rohn many years ago, and it's true. You got to work on yourself harder than you work on your business, work on yourself harder than you work on your task or your to-do list and all that stuff. You should be constantly investing in your own mindset and your own self, right? And raising your level, raising your mindset, raising your self-worth. All of that is so critically important to making more money. In baseball, they say baseball is 90% mental. But in baseball, I'm a big baseball guy. I coach baseball. Son's a big baseball player. In baseball, they say 90% is mental. But we work on 90% of the physical. 90% of the time, we work on the physical, not the mental. So if baseball is 90% mental, why do we work 90% on the physical? We should be applying some of that time to mental, because it's true. If you're confident, if you're, feeling that vibe, you're going to do a lot better if you're aggressive in baseball than if you're being timid or you're in your own head or you don't feel comfortable, things like that. So when it comes to making more, you've got to become more. So let's talk about, as far as getting to the next level, there's one thing I call this, I have a title for this, and it's just gets in the way for people. And I see it every day in coaching and helping people make more money. This one thing is what screws it all up for them. This one thing messes everything up. I could sit here and take someone by the hand and show them exactly how to make $100,000 per month of net profit income. And these are the steps. These are the footsteps. This is exactly how to do it step by step. Now let's apply the plan. It's proven plan. It's worked a million times before. It'll work for you. Just do the steps. And then they won't do the steps. So I call it the resistance. There's this phenomenon that happens with people where it doesn't matter what I show them, what I teach them, the steps to take or any of that stuff, for whatever reasons, they don't succeed because of this resistance. But once we bust through that resistance, then it's life-changing. A lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is attitude. A lot of it is just allowing yourself to receive more money. And I got a few examples I'm going to share with you of real clients and what they went through to bust through the resistance to finally allow themselves to start making a lot more money. So a lot of times I don't even feel like I'm battling the person to get them making a lot of money. I'm battling this resistance that could come from childhood and just trying to get past that resistance, which is psychological. Like you could take a baby elephant and like chain it to a tree, and that elephant will try really hard to get unchained and it won't be able to. It's not strong enough to snap the chain. But when that elephant grows up, and he's been chained to this tree on and off for his entire life, when that elephant gets to be this big giant beast of an elephant, you can easily snap this little chain. You could tie a string around that elephant's neck and tie it to the tree, and that elephant won't even attempt to snap the string or the chain. It won't even try. It's just imprisoned his own mind, right? The elephant's mind. So that's resistance. And we get programmed, right? A lot of it comes from television. Like, what is television? Tell a vision. Programming. Your programming alert. It's programming us, right? So when you look at the media and, you know, how we grew up, we're bombarded from magazines and television shows and movies and, you know, I mean, now the internet and social media and the news and friends and family and parents and significant others and on and on and on. We are bombarded by this resistance that keeps us small and shrinks us, right? It's like, you know, Peter Parker's uncle said, you know, we may not be rich, but at least we're honest. You know, like Spider-Man, Superman, all these different shows. I remember the Lorax was like making fun, you know, and vilifying rich people. Like there's just all kinds of examples I could sit here and do the research on and show you 1,000 examples from the media beating down and making rich being bad and rich fat cats and all this kind of stuff. So the resistance is huge, and I see it all the time with people. I'm like, just if we could just get past your mindset, the money's sitting right there underneath your nose. Just let yourself receive that money. So if you want to earn top level income, you have to bust through that resistance. It's like you're trying to swim, right? You're underwater and you're trying to come up for a breath, and there's like a creature underwater just keeps pulling you down, right? That lives underwater, and you keep trying to swim up and he pulls you down, right? It's like a monster is pulling you down. Like that's the way you want to look at this. Like you really have to want it so badly that you'll take the action despite, like, as much as you would want to breathe if you're being pulled underneath the water. Now, less than 7% of people own their own businesses. In the United States, less than 7% own their own businesses. That means 93% of people in the United States of America do not own their own businesses. That means they have day jobs. And that's that statistic for a reason. And that reason is it's not easy. It's not easy because of the mindset stuff. It's not easy because of the financial pressures. If you have a day job and you get paid every 2 weeks and it's direct deposited right into your bank account, and you get 2 weeks of vacation a year and 30-minute lunch breaks, then that's what you got to do in order to get that drip of a paycheck that gets dripped right into your bank account, drip. And then that shrinks us down to being just good enough to make whatever your salary is per year or your hourly wage. This is why only 7% own their own businesses, because they have to bust through the resistance and defeat the swamp creature that's underwater trying to pull you under the water so you can finally breathe and own your own business. And then once you own your own business, it's really easy to go out of business because of financial pressures, risk, all these fears, anxieties, stress, overwhelm, worry. So it's not cut out for everybody. So when I say, you know, hey, this isn't for the faint of heart or the easily offended, well, neither is business. So most people that were like, I ain't gonna listen to this guy, this rich fat cat, and they click away, then I hate capitalism. Capitalism is ruining the planet. Like, and then they click away. Well, they're most likely not. 99% of the people that would leave this presentation because of that, they ain't ever going to own their own business. Okay. You need thick skin, skin like a rhinoceros in order to become a business owner who's successful. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the easily offended. It's not for the timid. It's for the collectively ambitious people who have magic about them, in a sense, which I'll talk about more in a minute. So it requires some weird ability. It's like some weird trait that these people have, those 7% have, which allows them to handle pressures and financial failures and all kinds of ridicule and embarrassment and looking like a fool and, all that risk, all that failure, because you fail your way to success. It requires some weird ability to handle that. Like this is why, like for me, I think I grew up poor. So I'm like on house money. I mean, if I fell and lost it all, man, I've had a great life, right? But early on, when I was first starting to try to make money on my own and own my own business, like what did I have to lose? I was already dirt poor, so I didn't have anything to lose, right? So for me, I was willing to take the risk. Because what's the worst that can happen? I become poor and lose it all? So what? I started from scratch anyway. So I'm on house money. But it's really hard for other people to succeed because they're already making a good money, like with a day job or whatever. So you got to be willing to totally fail, to totally lose it all, to totally go rock bottoming it. And most people are not willing to do that, especially if they have a cush job or it's a husband and wife type of situation and significant other, and they're like, making good money, one's an attorney and the other one's a doctor or whatever. They're making good money. It's less likely they're going to start their own business and risk all of that because it's good enough, right? They're making $200,000 a year or $250,000 a year. They get to take a nice vacation to the Caribbean or Hawaii once a year, go skiing in the winter. They got a nice, SUV and a golf membership and a golf cart and a swimming pool and a hot tub in the backyard with a little tiki torch. Like that's good enough. And they can put their kids in college and save money. And that's good enough. And then, so they're good. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of this. What I'm saying though, is to own your own business requires an ability to fail. So just don't want to be homeless. Like I remember watching this video, and this couple, husband, wife, was saying to Tony Robbins that their big fear was that they would lose it all and end up becoming homeless. So he made them homeless, like go be homeless for a couple days or a week or whatever. Go sleep in Skid Row and sleep with the homeless people and go ahead and face the fear like that so it wouldn't cripple them from taking action anymore. And I was blown away by that. It's so true. Like so many people have these thought loops in their minds that they keep playing over and over, these fears, and they don't take action because they are afraid that fear could happen, and so their fear cripples them. It's like the elephant that's like, I can't get out of the chain anyway, so why even try? So these repetitive fears that loop in your mind can be the fears that are holding you back, which maybe those fears are not such a bad thing anyway. Especially, what's more fearful? Ending up homeless for a little bit or not achieving your dreams and you're 100 years old in your deathbed and you're like, I really should have risked more. Like I think they said that they surveyed like all these people that were in their 90s and asking them what they regretted in their life. And I think the overwhelming majority answer was they wish they would have risked more in their life. Risked more. So again, if you're making $150,000, $200,000 a year, it's a lot harder to go to $1 million than if you're not making any money at all and you're rock bottoming it. Because what happens is if you're rock bottoming it, you're already at the bottom. So where are you looking? You're looking up. And you're like, I might as well try this business. What do I have to lose? I'm at rock bottom. And those are the people that can end up making tons of money because they could skyrocket to success because they didn't let fears of failure hold them back. I think a lot of people have mental limits. Let's just say it's $22,000 per month. Look, there's a very little difference between making $22,000 a month and making $50,000 per month. There's not a difference. I've been in both of those areas many, many, many years in my life and my career, and it really wasn't that big of a difference. It was like I'd look at my bookkeeping and like, Oh man, we only did 25 grand that month. And then I was like, oh, at least we did 50 grand this month, right? Like it's not like this big, massive difference. Maybe my top closer went on vacation that month and we lacked a bunch of sales. Like it could be a little thing that happens. Maybe Facebook like made a change and our ads aren't working as good as they were. Or LinkedIn made a change, or I made a change, or I was gone to the Cayman Islands during that month. You know, there's a million things that could cause you to make a difference between making 20K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month. It's really not that big of a difference. But if you take most people out there and you look at their income and you average it out, it's about the same year after year after year after year. How could that be? We have inflation. We have things that change. We have Facebook changes, Instagram changes, LinkedIn changes, email marketing changes. Everything changes, but yet, boom, there you are, the same income month after month after month, right? It's a mindset. It's the elephant in the chain. So a lot of people think it goes like this. First, you make $1,000 a month, and then you get a little bit better, and you make $2,000 a month, and then $3,000 a month, then you grow to $4,000 a month, and you grow to $5,000, then $6,000, then $7,000, then $8,000, then it doesn't work like that. It works like this. You go from 0 to 12 grand per month, like that. Boom. All of a sudden, lickety split, lightning fast, you make a quantum leap up in your income because you started doing something that you weren't doing before because you were scared to death to do it before, and now you're not scared and you're doing it. I've had so many clients of mine that all of a sudden started making a bunch of money, and I'm asking them, what is it that you did, that I did or we did together that helped you bust through the resistance and get this money coming in? And like so often it's the same statement: confidence. They're like, man, when I got with you, I just had all this confidence, and I used that confidence and it just propelled me to that level. It's like, because before the fears were crippling you is a big resistance barrier from preventing you from making the money. And then for whatever reason, my confidence, you borrowed that and you were able to start doing the things that you probably already know you should be doing, but aren't doing. So part of it's tactical, part of it are the steps, and then part of it is the confidence. And I bring that to the table for my clients, and they're like, yeah, that made all the difference in the world. I did LinkedIn, I did Facebook, I did this high ticket offer, I took your advice on this and that. We created an irresistible offer, and then the confidence was there to get me through the resistance, because there will always be resistance. End result, now I'm making $55,000 a month, where I've never even made $55,000 in a year, or I'm at 115 grand a month. I've never even done 115 grand in a year. That kind of thing happens where people turn their yearly income into their monthly income. They take these big quantum leap jumps up in income because they changed a few things, and one of the biggest things was confidence. So here's an example. Here's a real text I got from a client. Hey, thanks for the feedback. It's much appreciated. Just wanted to let you know we closed our first 10K client today. You were right. It wasn't that hard. Very excited to see where this goes. So this lady she's been selling stuff for like $1,500 and forever. And she has never made 100 grand in a month. And I mean, at first she was like resistant to me. I'm like, we need to turn that $1,500 offer into a 10K offer. It's worth it. And you got all these great testimonials, and people really believe in this offer, and they really want it. They'll easily pay 10K for this, if not a lot more than that. And so she wouldn't do it. She just didn't believe that her people would pay her, little me. People aren't going to pay little me 10K. I'm too little. I'm not a big guru. Like, no, they don't care about you. They care about themselves. And yes, they will pay you 10K. And then so finally she just went for it because I convinced her, and she had confidence to do it because I gave her that confidence. And next thing you know, she got a 10K client, her first 10K client. And then, hey, the other 10K is confirmed. So now we're at 30K today. 30K in a day from someone that wasn't doing 30K in a month. Now is doing $100,000 months. Who didn't think anyone would pay her 10K? So the lady made like 10K to 15K in a few weeks, and then, this is a whole completely different lady. All right, so this story I just want to tell you because this really helps people to understand. But she made about 15K or so in just a couple weeks. And then she disappeared, missing in action. I couldn't get a hold of her. She never replied to me. It is radio silence. Crickets. Gone. Then, like, I don't know, like 3 months later, she comes back and reaches out to me. I'll never forget this story or this situation. And I've been telling this story for many years. Okay, so she comes back because it was a big change for me. It made me realize for my own self and for my clients this phenomenon that happens. So she comes back 3 months later and she's like, "Hey, Eric, I'm back. Did you miss me?" And I'm like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Well, I really need to get going again. I've spent all the money I made." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you made like $13,000, $14,000, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You made it like in almost 3 weeks." "Yes." "So where you been?" She's like, "What happened? You could be making 50 grand per month right now or more." And she's like, "Well, that's so much money for me." She wasn't from the United States and, single gal. And so she's like, me and a friend decided to go on a trip to Europe and go backpacking. And, so we've been gone for 3 months because all I really need is a couple grand per month to live. And this is a long time ago. She's like, and so when I made like 13 grand, that's enough for me to live for like 3 or 4 months. So we went and had a blast and, just disappeared and went backpacking through Switzerland or whatever. I'm like, "That's awesome." And she's like, "So I'm back and I need to get going again. So I'm here again." And I tell you this story because the big lesson is she could be at 50 grand, 100 grand per month. But because that was so much more than she was used to making, it kind of leveled out, right? And she ended up spending 2 or 3 grand per month for 3 or 4 months. And then now is back to make more money. And again, it's the ceiling, the elephant, the limitations we put on ourselves. You could take a dentist practice, for example, and let's say the dental practice has been making a clinic, makes $1.2 million per year. And the dentist is 82 years old, wants to sell the practice and retire. And so when we're looking at his financials, I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. You have made $1.2 million for the past 28 years, like almost to the penny every year, despite different economies, recessions, inflation, changes in the value of the dollar, insurance changes, prices, so competition and on. Changes in population in your town, yet you still made $1.2 million per year, every year for 28 years. You didn't make $2.2 million. You didn't make $700,000. You made $1.2 million, averaged out every year like clockwork. That's mental. So I look at it and I'm like, what is your highest ticket sell for the year? Okay, you sold this patient a $22,000 beauty type of thing where they got veneers. She got veneers and lip injections, Botox, the whole 9 yards, cosmetic stuff. And you charge her 22 grand. Why don't we start selling a whole lot more of those? And let's take your 1.2 million per year and turn it into $2.2 million per year in 30 days. See, it's just a mindset change, and people have to allow themselves to receive more money. Here's another story, more in a negative direction. But I had this toxic guy. I mean, big-time toxic guy. And he's just super angry, super ridiculous, and I should have known better. I regretted it. I still regret it, and it's been years now. This guy, I'll never forget him. It's like I used to say, no good deed goes unpunished. I should never let this guy come inside my realm, but I did, and I got burned, and I couldn't stand the whole situation, okay? It happens. So if you're taking this in the wrong way, hey, if you're in business and you're bringing on customers and clients, there's a percentage of the population that's just toxic. It's not my fault. Don't blame me. I'm not God. I didn't invent this universe. But there's like 25% of the population is just toxic. They're just crazy. And these toxic population people, you're going to get them. They're going to clog up your calendar. They're going to clog up your time. You're going to clog up your email and your resources. They're going to fill out your customer service forms. They're going to book calls with you. They're going to try to become clients, and they're flat angry, toxic. They're not, there's two types of people on planet Earth: batteries included people and batteries not included people. The batteries included people have their own charge. The batteries not included people are looking to take a charge away from everybody else. So be aware of that, right? There's people that build you up and people that tear you down. And so you want to be aware of toxic people. They're not good as clients, and you need to fire them, or you need to not let them come on board. Client selection is important. So this guy was stuck. And before I brought him on board as a client, he shared with me what he was doing. He owned an agency, a small little, one-person show agency. He had a handful of clients, and he was charging them like $200 or $300 a month. He was doing SEO or something like that. And so he wasn't making any money. He had never made more than $10,000 in a single month for many years. He's older than me. He's an older guy, but just super angry, super ridiculous. And I looked at his stuff, and I'm like, oh, this guy's easy to make. We just take two of his existing clients, upgrade them to a higher level program, a higher ticket program, more expensive. And if 2 out of his 15 clients say yes, I just got him to 10 grand per month. And then we could go get new clients using my system and, stop selling $200 per month mom and pop little, peanuts packages. Let's get some high ticket action going. So I started working with him to make this a reality for him. It didn't take long for me to totally regret this. I mean, the guy was just rude, mean, angry, had some major issues. So he provided this agency service, and never made more than 10 grand per month. He had a huge lack mentality because he didn't want to touch any of his existing customers to disrupt them. I'm like, well, I mean, if they're happy with you, why would you not try to give them more value? It just didn't make sense. I mean, he was lying a lot, so who knows if he even had any clients at all. But he even said to me at the beginning, why are you willing to help me, Eric? I'm such an a-hole. I was like, yeah, I figured that out, brother. So I tried to help him. But really, it's kind of looking back now, I think I was just trying to save him as his savior, the hero. Look what I have done for you. It was just impossible. Okay, it just wasn't going to work. It wasn't my fault. So I could not get past his mindset, his anger, his toxicity, his stubbornness. He wasn't coachable. He was stuck. And I couldn't help him. It was like, help me help you. Help me help you. So 90% of what it takes is a high-ticket offer that you truly believe in and the mindset to allow yourself to receive much more. That guy's mindset was absolutely terrible, and he was not coachable, and he was not going towards setting up a high-ticket offer, and he was so stuck where he was at and so toxic and defensive and stubborn that I had to fire him as a client. We had to part ways, and it's unfortunate, and I'll never forget it because he was so brutal. Dude was brutal that he could have done so much more if he just got out of his own way. But if you take that story and you apply it to yourself, if I apply it to myself, there's elements in there that can be applied to all of us, right? All of our individual journeys. I have some of that in me too. So if I want to make it to the next level, I need to let go and be coachable and realize that, what got me here is not going to get me there. And there's things I need to learn, and I need to level up, and I need to grow more. And if I want more, I need to become more. So a couple says to me, a client who was a husband-wife said, we made $2,500 in a day, Eric, with your system. And I'm like, awesome. They're like, we've never made that much before. And then they did $5,000 in a day. And then they did 20. This is all like in a 2-week period of time. Then they did $25,000. Then they did $50,000 in a week. They were rolling. They had never made like 50 grand in a year, and they made it in a week. And then I think they hit like 70 grand for the month that month. So they did the unbelievable thing. They shut the whole thing down and started turning away business. Other people wanted to give them money. I mean, it was such a brilliant thing that we did. The marketing system that we did using my PDF system really blew up. And then the husband there was like getting so defensive with me, he got a little mad. And he was like, Eric, we just can't accept any more money. We're feeling guilty. I'm like, guilty about what? Guilty. We got to service these people. I'm like, yeah, but that's not hard to do. You got plenty of time to do that. You got a little team that you're building. Add another person. Why are you shutting off the flow of money coming in? Like, it was all mindset. They got scared of making money. They're like, no, don't give me more money. No, I'm making too much money. No. They freaked out because money is spooky. There's a lot of emotions tied with money, right? There's a lot of deep-seated stuff that comes from our childhood when it comes to money, and they got spooked. They got money spooked. So many won't sell or accept money mindset issues that can even come from childhood. Just listening to your parents complain about money or fear. You see the fear in your dad's eyes about how he's going to pay for something. That leaves a lasting impression in us as kids. At least it did for me. I mean, when I was a child, we had some times that were really bad, really big time poverty times. Like, I just remember, so many memories that flood my head from time to time of like how scary it was and what we were going to do just to get through another day. So that stuff actually propelled me. They say the pendulum swings, right? So I went from poverty to wanting to not be like my parents, especially not be like my dad, and make myself a whole lot of money. And that drove me, right? Which is probably has a lot to do with any kind of achievements I've had. So many people won't sell or accept money because of this deep-seated stuff. So these are strongholds. These are, shortcomings. These are barriers. These are deep-seated curses that we have put on ourselves from our childhood or was given to us from our parents or, family or teachers or the media or books or professors and friends. And, all of that combines to set us up for the income that we're at, right? So I've been around some people who make so much more than I make. I have a good friend of mine that's crazy rich, and I go over to his house and it's just like an unbelievable mansion, and he's got all kinds of money, right? And all kinds of other houses and stuff, and but he's just a normal guy, just like me. But he sees money differently. He sees it more abundant, right? Like he was telling me about some little project he was going to do. And I'm like, well, yeah, well, how's that work? He goes, I just put $1 million down for this, and then, went and financed it, and then it's like worth like $3 million, and then I'm gonna, add this stuff to it, and then it's gonna probably flip it for $5 million. And I'll put a couple million in my pocket. Anyway, hey, how about the Aggies? Like he just moves on, and I'm like, he just casually mentioned making a couple $1 million. Like it's just amazing. It's the mindset. It's all mindset. And I want to give you a dose of that in this presentation. That's why I'm talking about all this. So people will say things though, and I'll say things too. And they'll say, I can't even imagine, Eric. I couldn't even imagine making $50,000 per month. Man, that's impossible. That would be a dream come true. That would be like winning the lottery. I'd have to be really lucky to make $50,000 a month. I don't even believe it. Maybe you believe it, Eric, but I don't believe it. So I'll just lean on you until that comes true. If I could make 10% of that, I would be stoked. All these things that people say, when you speak things like this, who's the first person to hear it? You. It comes out your mouth and into your own ears, right? And you know your voice better than anybody. You're talking directly to your subconscious mind, which is unbelievable. Your subconscious mind is so powerful. I mean, it keeps your heart going and your eyes blinking and your lungs breathing and blood pumping through and your kidneys are working and you can walk and talk and chew bubble gum and brush your hair and brush your teeth. Like your subconscious mind is powerful. Yet if you're talking like this all the time, you're giving your subconscious mind commands. And you're telling it and reinforcing your subconscious mind, which is your performer, right? You think, your thinker is your conscious mind, your prover is your subconscious mind. What does the thinker think? Whatever you think is what the prover is going to prove. And whatever you say, the prover is going to go prove that. So don't talk like that, first of all, and don't think like that, second of all. And if you do happen to say that, something like that, replace it with something more abundant mindset. And if you do think it, replace it with something more abundant thoughts. Thoughts are real, and thoughts become actions, and actions dictate our results. So another guy, let me give you this example. He disappears for a year. He comes back and wants to get started again. And I'm like, cool. I'd love to, renew you as a VIP member of mine since your 90 days are over and ended like a year and a half ago. Here's a package I can put together for you as a renewing VIP. Are you in? And then he comes back. No, Eric. No. I cannot invest a thing. I'm broke as a joke. I'm rock bottoming it. My dog died. My goldfish, left me. I have an infected blister. It's raining outside. I burned the toast. My wife is mad at me. I can't pay a dime. Can you just let me in for free? Sob story, sob story, sob story. Sob story, guilt, attempt to me. Sob story, all the stuff. And I say, I'm sorry. I can't do that. The truth is, I run a business, and it's a for-profit business. So no, I can't do that. You're going to have to invest. And so he's like, okay. So here's the translation. No, Eric, I cannot invest a thing. I'm flat broke. Dog died. Goldfish left me. I have an infected blister. It's raining. It really means I moved on. I bought a bunch of other shiny objects. I got super distracted. I wasn't being very coachable. I'm not committed to anything. I'm just buying different stuff and throwing money at the problem instead of taking action. I'm not serious. But this new offer you have, Eric, is so awesome. I'm so stoked to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get it for free since you're such a nice guy and very giving. If I agreed, equals I'm a people pleaser.